Okay, Andrew, I have another question for you.
Okay.
As you moved into being a practicing nurse, qualified as a staff nurse, at what point did you feel research became more real, more important to you?
In some ways, it probably was an incremental thing that I would go and read around research that was being done in the area that I was practicing in. But I remember one instance particularly where I was looking after a patient. I was the primary nurse for a patient who had fairly complex needs, and there were a lot of, psychiatry at the time had a lot of kind of traditions and very set ways of doing things that weren't necessarily the best way of responding to people who had different types of mental health problems. And I remember being pulled up by the charge nurse of the ward for doing something one day, and in my head I knew I'd read somewhere that this was it was a legitimate kind of intervention. And so I went back and found it, and I remember going and looking at other material as well that kind of substantiated the choices that I'd made in caring for that patient, and I used it and it worked. And I remember thinking, okay, now I'm firing.
You're firing.
Yeah, it was a turning point.
And taking that sort of step further, what would you sort of advise? What would be your take-home messages about how we can help current nurses in that situation?
Yeah, that's a really good one. It's a good one. I think going back to the undergraduate experience and the grappling with things like method and just the language of it, I think there's something about being patient with yourself in terms of, if there's something that you don't understand, it's not a failure, it's something else to kind of inquire into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's about maintaining curiosity, I think, whether it's curiosity about the language of research or curiosity about why it is that things are happening the way they are in practice. And I think that position of curiosity really propels you into an interesting inquiry space. So that would be the first thing. And then I think the second is really about learning to be an intelligent consumer of knowledge that's given to us, and being prepared to have some confidence in your own critique of what it is that we are told.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you.